I'm managing director of Solanart. We're a marketplace trying to give the best experience in consumer experience in order to buy, sell, and produce NFTs. We've been, I guess, the first one on Solana. We're having much fun over here. Thanks for the invitation.
Hi everyone, my name is Zero X Banana. I am a senior software engineer over at Holaplex. We are the only open source marketplace on Solana. We are a no-code solution for anybody who wants to mint and sell NFTs on our platform. Please come and say hello. And if there are any artists in the audience that want to hang out and talk art, thank you very much. Please reach out and say hello.
Hey guys, this is Bill, co-founder of Solanart. We are the prime marketplace for one-on-one art in Solana. We offer end-to-end solution from minting, primary, secondary, auction house, and offers. So if you're doing one-on-one art, this is the place to be.
Hey everyone, I'm Burn at Burn Finance. We are also the only marketplace on Solana that is open source. Additionally, completely decentralized, no database, no fees, completely peer-to-peer.
Hey, my name is Santat. I'm at Hyperspace. We're an NFT marketplace at So, I think everyone here except for Holaplex is on our marketplace. You can see the seats across and invest by our experience.
Hey, what's up, guys? Woo! We are Magic Eden. We are super happy to be here. My name is Tiff. I lead marketing for Magic Eden. This is Josh, and one of our co-founders. Dragged him on stage today. We're also hosting the event later today that starts at 6 at William Studios, a 5-minute walk away from here. We're really excited to build relationships with the developer community. We have an API bounty where we're encouraging folks to build trading tools, analytics, and social integrations. And we're really proud to announce that we recently raised our Series A, led by Paradigm, featuring Sequoia and some other folks. Greylock, my fave. And some other folks. But yeah, great to be here. Really happy to meet everyone.
I'm with Tiff, so I'm good.
Excellent, great. So as you know, Solana is the only blockchain to ever have existed in the world, as you all are the only open source marketplaces to ever have existed on Solana. So just kind of diving into it, right? There's a I'd say vibrant and healthy competition between marketplaces, but you all often touch the same code base, right? Which is the Metaplex minting contract, a lot of the things that they ship, like the auction house contract, right? The ability for escrowless exchanges, but at the very least, even if you're forking some of those contracts, you're still talking all to the same rough token spec, right? Which a lot of the original work was done by Metaplex to sort of lay out, how do you think about what of these pieces you want to adopt and bring in? Where is that a differentiator for a marketplace? Would love to keep this not terribly punchy and fairly technical. Not terribly.
No, I mean I think it's interesting. I think that's a great concept that we've kind of been tackling at Burn Finance. Obviously we all use the Metaplex minting or metadata contract. And I think that was obviously this kind of pre-anchor period where kind of verification and cross-checking the API didn't really exist. And I think something that's interesting, and I think we'll kind of start to see a future of this, is being able to maintain a standard by using kind of similar deployment contracts, if not that exact deployment contract, but while still being able to obviously verify via anchor that the standard is being kept and matched. I think with that kind of comes this use of functionality, something like dynamic metadata, and I'm really excited for that on more like a technical level to see what we can all get with that.
Yeah, I can jump in. So I think at Magic Eden, we obviously super grateful for all the work that Metaplex has put in, and the Solana team as well, and all the standards development and contracts and things. Yeah, we've used a bunch of this stuff, and the way we think about it in general is that we want to be kind of the reference implementation, right? We are really, really good at building product experiences, really nice and slick user experiences. And the way we do that is leveraging a lot of the standards and tooling that's already been built. So that's number one. Number two is that I think Metaplex and a lot of the folks building in this room today, I think are building a lot of generalized use cases. And that stuff is really, really helpful in the early days. It's always better to start broad than narrow, and that's what we've seen so far in terms of a lot of the standards that have popped up. I think over time we're going to see more and more really, really specific use cases and standards pop up. the verticalization and categories. So like gaming is obviously one example there. So that's something we're really excited about and like really pumped to work with the whole community on.
On the next, so one thing I'm very excited about, and we're all using the same stuff, kudos to Metaplex for pushing out really good code and releasing new versions of their stuff. At Holaplex, we're here to kind of enable the community. We like and listen to our feedback, so one thing that we're doing that I haven't seen others do is you can kind of launch auctions with any SPL token that's minted. So if you have a project that runs your own token, let's say $banana, and you're investing and staking your token, your NFTs for $banana, you could potentially run and bid on auctions using $banana as we can only do because Metaplex has put that stuff out there. And if anybody has other cool ideas that you want to run, let's do that. Yeah, Banana's a Ponzi. Please don't buy the token. It's not financial advice.
The thing I think I've been most surprised about is the auction house contract in particular. The auction house contracts enable stateless escrow, and we've seen some marketplaces even try to adopt it and then switch back. In our opinion, it's actually the best user experience to see the NFT stay in your wallet when you are interacting with the marketplace. And so it's something that we expect more marketplaces to adopt over time. That being said, as an aggregator, we're very, very grateful that everyone is stuck with that Metaplex minting standard, because otherwise we couldn't do what we do.
Yeah, I fully agree with all of you what you said, and it's pretty cool that we've got a diversity of different marketplaces. Because at the end, it's just we push each other to give the best customer experiences, and I think that if there was only one marketplace, I think it wouldn't have been the same. And yeah, really grateful to use Metaplex solutions. And what's pretty cool is just, for example, like if there was no so big competition, we wouldn't have developed features such as the global offers, which allow you to bid, on below the floor. So that's pretty cool. It brings more liquidity on NFTs, and it's something that the whole ecosystem needs, right?
One more thing, there is no second best. There is no second best, there's only one standard.
Sure, so, I mean, in some level, there is no second best. On another level, the entire thesis of DeFi is built on composability, and the idea that you actually don't need to rebuild Chase or HSBC or Bank of America. You can actually just be really great at doing one or two or three pieces of the stack, and then that can plug into the rest of the ecosystem. So if you follow what Saber and Saber Wars is doing, there's like 14 steps you can go through in a bunch of different ways, and it's all different composable components of a DeFi ecosystem. That is just starting to appear in the NFT space, right? Like you're seeing escrowless listings through something like Auction House, but you're not really seeing like a multi-market or cross-market borrow, lend, or collateralization system coming into place. Like, how are you thinking about both creating like some amount of wall for product lock-in to keep people going to your marketplace and your experience, and then also like adopting some of the things like escrowless listing, which allows someone to list one NFT for sale at multiple marketplaces? Like, what's that decision process, both technically and almost from a business standpoint, like when you're looking at bringing something like that on?
I can start. So I think the DeFi analogy is a really good one, because I spent 3 years at DYDX in the early days, and a lot of the way that that particular industry developed was very much along the same lines, whereby in the early days, a lot of teams built sort of full stack experiences. So at DYDX, for example, we built like the protocol, we built our own backend, obviously, and our own front end. And then over time, as more of these protocols developed, and it became a lot easier to use, you started to see a lot of this like aggregation layers and interoperable layers, and like it became a competitive advantage to actually access like open liquid networks. And I think the same is probably true for NFTs. I think we're still pretty early on the Solana side. We've obviously seen that play out in the Ethereum NFT ecosystem, and I think it's inevitable, right? Like I think that's probably why we're all here, because all that stuff is actually enabling use cases that are not possible in Web 2. So for Magic Eden, like the sort of North Star for us is building the best possible product experience for users. And today that means like we are building kind of the full stack experience. But over time, like would we like utilize some of the open standards in like auction house and things like that? I think the answer is probably unanimous yes. But it's just a matter of sort of ecosystem maturity for us. So yeah, that's sort of how I think about it.
I think everyone on the stage wants to build the best product, and everyone on the stage is going to have to target a different user because everyone on the stage is going to push each other to build a better and better product. And each of us are going to have our own niches. In our case, our niche is that we want to aggregate liquidity and make it really easy for developers to build on top of NFTs, whether you're in DeFi or trying to build DeFi applications for NFTs or a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the magic word in Solana of composability, right? I mean, you should just say that now the room gets quiet. But I think that's, I give the analogy of ironically, like wildfire, right? Like you can have one tree that burns pretty bright, but at the end of the day, a wildfire will always spread more of a flame. I kind of fitting with the name of the company and everything, but I think with everyone being on the stage, we've all pushed the Solana standard NFT industry market, everything so much farther than any other layer one if they even exist left. And I think we continue to keep doing that.
There's not much composability.
Composability.
No, it's basically understanding what your demographic is, understand who you are catering to, and build the best product for that specific demographic. That's pretty much it.
Build for the users, right? You guys are the community, you guys are the people we're all serving. We're all different marketplaces that all have different niches, that all target different groups, and I think as long as we keep building and pushing each other and getting feedback from the community on what pieces are useful, then we're just going to continue to see new highs, and let's just keep building everybody, right?
And yeah, totally agree on all what you say. The thing is, I think we need even more, even like this, and panel, in order to get more feedbacks from the community, in order to develop more stuff that the community wants and that is really useful. Just I think for me it's the key point, because we build some stuff, but the best way to provide a great service is just that it fulfill a need of a community or a product.
We need more badges.
There you go. So there's a kind of an interesting phenomenon that I've seen take place in NFT marketplaces, both on Ethereum and other chains, and on Solana as well, which is it seems to be a place in the market that you all don't feel is zero sum, but somehow from the outside, people looking in feel like it might be zero sum. That and this is in the Web 2 model, right? You can have a fantastic startup, and then it becomes a feature of the iPhone, right? Or it becomes like a bad Google clone of a product, right? And you see this model where smaller things are killed by larger things that adopt into the ecosystem. You're starting to see this across the board in the Solana ecosystem, where infrastructure providers are moving in who have largely been providing infrastructure for Ethereum. You're seeing NFT marketplaces that have largely been providing NFT marketplace services for Ethereum talk about moving on to Solana as well. And I'm kind of curious because you all don't seem particularly worried about competing with each other, right? It's a very big mode, things are growing, it's a very big pool, things are growing very quickly, but there's a perception from the outside that someone else is going to come in and just eat everyone's lunch. What do you think is driving a little bit of that perception, and how worried are you about something like that?
We could just say OpenSea.
You could just
we
say
could just... Wait, what? What?
No, but the reason I'm asking is because in my conversations with a bunch of you individually, that's not something you seem particularly worried about. But when you look at the Twitter discourse around it, they're just oh, it's something's coming, it's going to be a big change, and I'm kind of curious how you guys respond to that.
I'm just going to go and say, what's the fear?
I mean,
what are we afraid of here? Are we afraid that we're going to lose our jobs? Are we afraid that we're not going to be able to afford rent? No, this is an industry, this is an ecosystem. We keep building, and we will succeed. If a program or project or company missteps, and maybe the founder does something a little silly and there's some bad press, well, that's business. And that doesn't have anything to do with the ecosystem. That's just an individual, right? I think we can all work together to keep hitting these new heights, and you'll just find new people that you jive with, right?
I think when there was a piece of news that leaked, I think the overwhelming sentiment on Twitter was incredible excitement. Like everyone was like, oh my god, like what does this mean for me and my NFTs? And I think like our sentiment closely mirrors that. Like we think this is a really positive sign for Solana. And as a marketplace that like fought tooth and nail for market share, like we know how difficult it is to actually translate that market share, right? Like, and that market share is really sticky. So, I mean, to say it in other terms, like whatever they want to take from our marketplaces, they have to take from us, right? Like, it's not like they're gonna come and everybody's gonna go to like one single other platform, right? We've built loyalty with all of our audiences over time, so there's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, I want to take up more of a macro lens to this question, which is, so our team spent like a week together on an offsite last week, and we had a couple of guest speakers come and talk to us. One of them was Fred Erson, the other one was Raj from Solana. And one of the things that they both mentioned was kind of this whole notion that like we are extremely early, and they both like went out of their ways to kind of say that. And why am I sharing this particular anecdote? The reason is because if you look at the way that social media developed in the early 2000s, everyone thought blogging was the battleground. And like, are we even talking about that today? Like, no way, right? Like that's like so far from what social media actually became. And it feels competitive today. All of this field may feel competitive, and OpenSea may feel competitive because we're a little fishbowl, right? The fishbowl is tiny right now. And if you think about the sheer proliferation of NFTs over the next 10 years, 20 years, it's gonna look really different. And like, our marketplace will look really different to their marketplaces, and all of you guys, I imagine, it's gonna look really different too. It's already starting to happen. So long as the market grows, I actually think it's just super bullish, right? It just means that better builders are coming into the space, and like, we're all about that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think also, and you tell me, you can jump in if you want, but I think it's also a great opportunity to bring more volume, because we will have more people also educating, because in Ethereum the NFT volume is just higher. So it's also important that we also increase the PR and also to say that yes, Solana NFTs exist, is well alive, and it works pretty well. And I think it's something kind of great. It's also a great PR stunt for that OpenSea is coming, because people are going to look also to Solana, brings more volume, and we need to communicate more, because at the moment, yeah, as you say, we're in a fishbowl at the moment, and just trying to make it into a bigger aquarium or a steam, so whatever. And it's really important that there's more communication also between each other sometimes, and we push our product and our blockchain for becoming a bigger environment.
Yeah, I think more eyes, it's a good thing. There's really no reason to be afraid of OpenSea. If anything, it's going to attract a lot more people to the Solana ecosystem, because a lot of the users that are buying right now, they will start at least taking a look. They already started taking a look. And at the end of the day, like moving traction from one marketplace to another, it's really fucking hard. So if you build a better product, like a genuinely better product, they will still do it. Like I don't, even if for us that we do one art, the foundation or super rare came to us, if we have a good user base and we make sure that we have good enough tooling and good enough product, it's very likely that creators are going to stick with us, but the overall vibe is going to grow. So that's actually a good thing. It's nowhere near zero sum game. There's a lot of people from other chains that come to us, and there's a lot of people that are going to be onboarded to Solana in the next couple of years. So if you think that blockchain as an industry is going to grow, and digital art as an industry is going to grow, and Solana is probably the best position blockchain to onboard the next 300 to 500 million people, the future is bright. I don't see any reason to be scared about new players. If anything, this is helping.
More capital means more builders, means more market for everyone. It's clearly not zero sum. Also, very few markets are winner take all, whether it be previous companies that we've all worked at before, or anything even Web 2. So, very bullish for all of us.
Said nothing. Yeah, I mean, I think it's also like just to kind of play devil's advocate here. Like, Barn Finance was originally going to be built on Ethereum. Kind of what we were building just didn't work on Ethereum, right? Especially doing decentralized options. it's expensive, the gas fees suck, and you know, a big reason, like obviously there was a decision, but I decided to come to Solana, but you know, I think even as, you know, people on this panel see, the concept of a marketplace is changing. You know, the users are changing, the users are going to fully segment. Honestly, Austin, I quote you way too much in general, but this thing specifically, where you made a tweet and you said, you know, not everyone calls their Roomba a robot, or their robot, right? And I think that's so fair, and you're just going to see so much, whether it's specialization, whether it's redefinition, you know, at the end of the day, all you're going to call that is innovation, right? And I think we all see the potential here, and I think we all see the applications here. And it's nice that there haven't been any fists thrown yet, so I'm happy about that. But in the interim, right, there's a lot of growth and a lot of innovation that you're not seeing anywhere else.
Yeah, just one last thing. It just by talking just between each other, just get more ideas. But I think if we can get like a union of marketplaces just trying to promote NFTs, just the whole ecosystem in Solana could be good, because unfortunately right now most of the communication that we get on mainstream information is based on Ethereum at the moment, and we don't talk enough, we don't have enough communication on NFT Solanart, so we're just using people that are either already just crypto friendly or just Solana friendly. And I think we need to see a bigger picture. And it's really important that we bring also and onboard just new people and straight to Solana. So I think with this, I think we'll all be really happy to talk after that. But there's some good strategy, because yeah, sure, we all saying that we are the best, whatever. But I think it will be a good thing for everybody if we get more communication and more visibility as Solana, like really good at being NFTs and just.
Great. So we have to wrap up soon. So one last question here. This is kind of a broad-based one, but from a technical standpoint, what is something that you think the ecosystem is lacking, or the ecosystem would really benefit from? One of these examples is, like in the early days, there's a JSON file that went around that said, oh, here's the whole collection, right? And now the collection data is actually stored on chain as part of the last update, and this comes with the collections. Do you have a feature, do you have an improvement, do you have something in your mind that would be great to see implemented in the token standard, or something that would be a collaborative agreement between marketplaces to build?
I think making it really easy for collections to have a collection ID in the candy machine is a must for people to actually adopt it. At the start, Holaplex wanted every single creator to sign every single NFT. It just didn't happen, and so now we've built on without it. Making things really easy for creators and making it really easy for new people to come to the ecosystem is paramount for all of us.
This is tough. Onboarding is a big thing. I think everybody here is building something that we all need. I've spoken to a bunch of different projects during the week, and every time I talk to a new project, they're building something, and I think, oh, we need that. Oh, we need that, right? So I personally don't have anything that I want to see. I just want to keep seeing more projects and personally meeting more people. And as an aside, please don't miss the NFT Fight Club. All of them downstairs this evening, battling it out to see who's the best marketplace.
Oh, no, we have something else.
I don't really have the magic feature that we need to get, but I think just come to those events and just talk with everybody. Well, I don't know, we were just with all my colleagues from Solanart, and with two guys from Friction, and we're just like, okay, let's do something. I think those kind of events really help to build the future of NFT on Solana, and it's really important that we do so. It's really important that we're not staying in a fishbowl or in our bubble and just share, because everybody here in this room can help us to build something really useful. And you know, it's business, but yeah, business can be really cool when you share things, and it can be really benefit for everybody.
I think one thing especially we need, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably need, is definitely some sort of on-chain indexing. I don't know if that's possible without flipping Solana and then like getting in a whole engineering conflict on that. But I think, yeah, obviously on-chain indexing, kind of what I talked about earlier, just with the exact contract being the use of like Solscan, Phantom, etc. But rather than verifying that the standard is kept. I think that's something that's really, really huge too. And then I think this kind of ability, similar to Auction House, but kind of Solana-wide, composability.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean,
Well, hiring.
it all sounds dope.
Excellent.
Can I just ask a question to the crowd? Who here is like Solana native? Like you didn't come from Ethereum to Solana, you're just on Solana. Hey, what's up? Okay, cool. I'm just wondering.
Sweet. All right, well, thank you all for joining us. We've got to keep this moving and get on to the next one. I want to make one quick plug before we do a transition, which is Brandon, who is here, has an announcement.
Hey y'all, I'm Brandon from Solanart. Talked to y'all yesterday. You may have seen a sign over by the whiteboard that says, "Tell me about your project." I'm the me. I really want to hear what stuff you're making. Especially we're trying to find out what kind of things you're working on, whether it's good, you're ready to present a demo day or not, or you're just starting. We just want to get a sense of what you're building, potentially for the Hacker House's Twitter account. So, come find me. I'm going to be over there. Maybe take some pictures, maybe take a short video, and I'll be over by that sign. Thank you.
It's a great way to maybe end up in a recap video and get a retweet from the main account, which is what you all want.